everybody at the same time. Good morning, good morning, good morning from Chiang Mai, Thailand. Okay, YouTube, I started you first and we're still waiting on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are having an awesome evening if you're on the other side of the world, and an awesome morning if you're on my side of the world. Come on, YouTube. Excuse me. Good morning. Hey, Big Juice. Is that Big Juice I'm looking at? That is Big Juice. Hey, my friend. Long time no see. How you doing? All right. We now have YouTube. We now have Periscope. We now have Facebook. So, good morning, everybody. All right, so let me introduce myself for those of you who have no freaking clue who I am, and then we're going to hop right on in it. Hey, friend, everything's good. Good to see you. Okay, so my name is Kelly McCray. Last year in February, I was diagnosed with lupus, and since that time, I have been on social media bringing awareness and kind of coping through my diagnosis. So because of the diagnosis, I was forced to walk away from a 17-year career in real estate and had to figure out how to still pay my bills and deal with the chronic illness that lupus is and all the lovely things that come with it. So I did what most normal people will do when they are looking for truly great health care and affordable health care. Hey, Felicia. Hey, Lane. Is I packed up what I owned. I sold most of what I owned, and then I moved to Thailand because that's what normal people do. But not really. Anyway, so in the interim, hey, how are you? In the interim, of course, I still have bills that needed to be paid. I've got expenses that need to be cared for and that kind of thing. And so as I was on primarily Periscope coping through my diagnosis, I kind of started to, talk to the various people that are in my circle there. And I realized that a lot of us can't work a traditional job. Our illnesses are very unpredictable. And then I had some people who could work a traditional job. They were just tired of their boss and they wanted to fire them. And so I started talking about how to go from coping to cash flow. So I started kind of sharing some of the things that I was doing online. I got a hair in my eye, guys. Sorry, I keep messing with my hair, but it's like I can't figure out where it is. But, I started trying to figure out or share with them how it was that I was making extra income online to supplement what I'd lost, and I lost a lot. So I was trying to help and figure that out. But what I also realized during that time was I was kind of doing my audience a disservice if they really wanted to go from coping to cash flow, because I have my finger in a lot of different things, but those things are, a little bit over here, a little bit over there, and a little bit over here, really wasn't helping my audience. They really need to understand how a full system works, how to, if this is the one thing that you want to make your income at, how to focus on that, because working in online business is indeed work. So one of the things that I'm really good at is helping people find that passion. That's one of the things I've always been good at. You can tell me, oh, I really like to, scratch my elbow, and I'll find a business in that. I'll figure out a million different ways that you can monetize it, and I'll tell you what you need to do, and then on, down the road, you'll go doing something that you are passionate about. So I wanted to kind of share a few things this morning, a few of the recent, if you will, consultations, because part of what the storm shelter is, and again, YouTube, I never put the link on the YouTube title, so you guys will have that after the fact. So it is actually bit.ly/the storm shelter is what the link that everyone else has. So Facebook has it, Periscope has it on the screen there, but it is bit.ly/the storm shelter. And what that basically is me going to people who do this all the time. So that person that scratches their elbow all the time and they've made a business out of that thing and they've got a good track record, I'm asking them to come over, teach you how to do that thing, and then help you to get started so you can also make a business out of it. But when people ask me, can they work with me? I've had people ask me, can they work with me? And they want me to do things that are not, they're not in my wheelhouse. So I had someone ask me recently if I would help brand them. That's not what I do. My stuff is branded for me, and it's, and that's not what I do. So, but what I am good at, like I said, is figuring out what type of business you should do. So I sit down with you and I have a conversation, and then we talk about what you really like and how you want to turn it into a business. And what I'll tell you, most of what I have are people who have done things that they think can never be an online business, can never be a personal business. So yesterday I had a consultation with a lady who worked in a cancer center, and she's retiring, and she wants to be able to live wherever she wants to live. Like, they're on vacation, they're here in Thailand. Good morning, welcome to your first day on Periscope. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. Guys, listen, on all platforms you have the ability to share. Please do so. On all platforms, you have the ability to show me some social love. I found out yesterday YouTube has thumbs. That was awesome. And I know that Periscope's got all these beautiful hearts, so please tap that up. And Facebook also has hearts and thumbs. So please, give me love everywhere, and please do share this out, because I do my best to make sure that I'm giving you guys some value. Thanks, Felicia. I appreciate that. So I try to make sure I'm giving you some value somewhere. So today's lesson, if you will, is to kind of make you think about the expertise that you have that you may not even realize that you have, okay? So this lady worked in a cancer center, and she worked directly with patients. And for her, she's like, I can't turn it into an online business because I work directly with patients. I don't really understand how that's going to help me earn money, right? And a lot of people will probably think that, right? That if you work directly with patients, there's just no way. So I asked her, I said, during the career that you had, how often did you hear your patients complain about the level of care? Because, I'm a chronic illness patient, and I can guarantee you that I am not sitting in Thailand because I got treated wonderfully in the United States, okay? So I says, how frequently and what were those complaints? And I says, okay, and you being on the medical side of things, when you went to deal with your doctors and take them your diagnostics, what complaints were they expressing about the job, about the patients, about the insurance companies, the whole 9 yards? And she was like, oh, everybody had something to say. I says, okay, do you realize that's a consulting business? You could be a patient care advocate. You could be an advocate for the doctor to the hospital, and your customers are worldwide. You can Skype those customers, you can Zoom with those customers, and you can tell them, my years of experience helps me to know. I've talked to, thousands of patients over these 20 plus years that I've been in patient care. I've talked to thousands of doctors within that time span, and now all you're doing is talking to people. And you're building relationships, and you're helping patients get better care so their doctors understand them. You're helping the doctors treat their patients better because you're understanding their frustrations and helping them to forge those to where they need to go. And that's a business. So, and she was like, I never thought about that. Exactly. So you can indeed take the passion that you have and turn it into an online business. So the other person that I was talking to, and this wasn't even them looking necessarily for a business, this was just them griping. And every time, there are some people, every time you talk to them, they griping about the same thing, right? And I am a firm believer that most of what we complain about, we can fix. We just have to sit down and we have to come up with that solution, right? And that's where a lot of these inventions have come from. You guys, there's the girl that made $1 million because she wanted to go grocery shopping, and the babies would gnaw on the little on the handle of, and she was like, that's disgusting. So she made these little I don't even know what you call them, but I guess little covers that you put into the shopping cart, and it covers that part, and you put your baby in that, and now the baby is gnawing on something familiar. And she is rich because of that, okay? So a lot of times the things that we find as a problem, if we come up with a solution, it's a solution that other people were looking for too, right? Okay, so this particular person has retired they retired at 62. And they got a phone call from Social Security that said, oh, you can actually get your money even earlier than you actually retire. Like she was retiring in August, and they told her she could get her money in April. So then after she got her money starting in April, August came, then the year started, moving on, and then they called her and says, oh, well, you need to pay that money back that you took out early because you took money out early. And she's like, but you guys told me I could take that money out early. Social Security doesn't pay that much, and now you want me to pay it back? And then when she finally turned 65, they forced her off of some really great insurance and made her, she had to go to Medicare. So she's complaining about it. And I says, well, you can actually take those complaints and turn them into a business so that even though Social Security doesn't pay that much, you can supplement your income with these complaints. And she was like, okay, I'm listening. I said, you learn the hard way. You learn to navigate how Social Security works, the downfalls, the flaws, right? Because I can guarantee you are not the only person that got that phone call that said, oh, you could take your money out early. I says, and when you called them back and you asked all these different questions, you got a bunch of different answers, right? I said, so that's a course. If you're getting ready to retire, here's what you need to know about Medicare. If you're getting ready to retire, here's what you need to know about Social Security. If you're going to retire early, here's what you need to know about how Social Security handles taking early payments or giving early payments and charge people for that. It's a business, right? She was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, so keep complaining, but find a solution, right? So again, passion and the possibility. You're passionate about that thing enough to always be complaining about it. So how about the solution come from you? You've learned the ins and outs of it, right? So make the solution where it's going to help and benefit not just you, but other people as well. So you benefit in a monetary kind of fashion. They benefit by getting that information and getting ahead of it and not having to go through the frustrations that you went through, right? So, yes, no, where we at? Okay. Then I talked to a gentleman who found it fun to create photo journals for his family. And I says, that sounds interesting. And he's like, yeah, and I don't really, he's retired. I've talked to a lot of people who are retired. I guess technically speaking, I'm retired too. And I says, well, you can make a business out of it. And actually, he says, oh, I should make a business out of it. That's what he said. And I was like, you should. I was like, you could do scrapbooks, you could do vacations, you could do, all these different things. And people, forward you their pictures and you put it to music and you add, transitions and la, 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 la. And then he says, nobody's going to buy that. Nobody wants that. I says, well, wait a minute. A minute ago, we went from you should make it a business to all of a sudden, nobody's going to buy it. I was like, what just happened? Okay. What happened was fear. What happened was he was like, oh crap, she's going to take this thing and make me get out there. And I'm like, I'm not going to make you do anything, but I'm just telling you that people will pay for that. He said, well, everybody knows how to edit their own video. I says, well, let me tell you something. I know how to edit my own video, but for me being a business person, it's not a good use of my time. So I hire that out. So get on Upwork and, get on Fiverr and put those services out there. And I says, and you're not just selling to your community or your group of friends. You are now opening yourself up to the world. And you could do that anywhere you got a computer. Freaked him out a little bit, but that's all right. The idea is out there. So you guys see what I'm talking about when I say explore the passion and your possibilities. We sit back and we believe that what we do has no value. What we believe is that, what we do can't be translated into an online business. There is not much that cannot be translated into an online business. So the Storm Shelter is about bringing people to you to help you get outside your own mind. And again, that's what I'm really good at. You can sit back. There hasn't been a lot that people have come to me with that I haven't been able to say, you can make money doing it this way. Had a fella, he plays 3 instruments, and he's always booked doing some gig somewhere. And, he says, I'm getting kind of tired of, always being out. And he's like, and yeah, I play these 3 instruments, but I really don't have the patience to teach people how to play an instrument. He goes, so take that as your challenge. I says, okay. I says, how are you getting your gigs? And he's like, well, there's a combination of different things depending on, if you got an audition or if you got this or if you got that and this, that, and the other. I says, okay, how many musicians are out there wishing they could get gigs? And you're booked to the point of bitching. Okay? Therefore, guess what? How to get gigs is a business. You're not teaching anybody music, right? You're able to make your course, put that out there, and once it really starts to sell and you market it, you can stop taking so many gigs. But in the interim, you got money coming in for the course, you're not teaching music, and you're still teaching musicians how to do something that they need to know how to do. Bam, business. How about that, right? So let's see. And then the last thing I'm going to add is something that a lot of us do, and we don't necessarily realize it. And I won't even say that we don't realize it. A lot of times we realize that we just scared. And I've actually got 2 examples of this. So I have a writer who has written for big publications, and she's, I think, on her 3rd or 4th book. And she sent me this really long, beautifully put together email about a workshop that she was doing, right? And I was like, oh, wow, this looks really good. I might be able to put some people, that want to be writers in the, tell them about this workshop. And I'm reading and reading and reading and reading. And I'm like, this is great. How much is it? And I'm reading and reading and reading. And I'm like, okay, still, this is great, but how much is it? So I sent her back an email and I said, how much is it? And she says, oh, it's free. I'm not really sure that I'm going to get people. I was like, no, we don't do free with this level of expertise. Then I had another girl who was all over Facebook. She was concocting these vegan recipes, and she was taking pictures, and she was showing her weight loss because of the vegan recipes. And she was getting massive hits. And people would say, oh, what's in it? And she put her recipe. I was like, what you doing? Why you doing that? No. So I sent her a private email, and I was like, no, that's not what you do. You've worked hard concocting these recipes, putting these things together, working out the measurements, and the work that you're doing, you should be paid for. And I was like, so stop it right now. Stop it. And I stopped her. I don't usually stop people on Facebook, but this was a family member. So I really wanted her to stop giving away. You got babies to feed, you got bills to pay. Guys, you have so much knowledge that you haven't thought about, things that you're giving away consistently that you can take and turn into revenue. So if you are like me and you got a diagnosis that says go on disability, you can no longer work a traditional job, and you want to still work and you still want to make money and you still want to be in control of your future and your finances, learn how to earn money online. But I need you to understand this. No matter what you decide to do online, it will take work. It is not easy. So I want to make sure that I put that out there, because you got the so many of these online things that say, oh, I made $1,000 in 2 hours. Well, they didn't tell you about the hard work that went into that. So I want you guys to be realistic about it and understand. But the storm shelter is from legitimate people who have a track record, who know what they're doing, teaching you what they do on the regular. And it is not for you to necessarily, it's to get your mind together. So if you decided that you wanted to be a writer, I want you to hear from somebody who's published, who's got, writing chops and the whole 9 yards. If you decide that you want to do patient care, I want you to hear from somebody that's what they're doing for their online business, so that you can know the foundation, so that you can learn the mistakes and not make those, so you can learn some of the pitfalls. So what happens in the storm shelter is it is a live seminar that you are an audience in, so to speak. And then once that person gets done sharing, you actually have the ability to ask them questions directly, so that you're getting your answers taken care of. And that is what the storm shelter is about. So right now I have pre-launch prices. Finally got the site up and ready and running as of yesterday. So go over, sneak a peek, check it out. And right now we're doing monthly guests, and that's subject to change. That's also on the form there. So that is pretty much what I wanted you guys to, get a lesson in today, is that you have knowledge and you have a way that you can bring that knowledge to the marketplace that you may not have considered yet. So again, in the case of the musician, he thought, well, in order for me to make money, that means I got to teach music lessons. And I really don't want to teach music lessons. And we found a way to do something different and still, stay geared towards music, something that he was an expert in. So that is the deal for today. For those of you who hopped on late that still don't know who the heck I am because I did my introduction in the beginning, again, my name is Kelly McCray. Last year in February, I was diagnosed with lupus and told to walk away from a 17-year, six-figure income, and I had to figure out what my next move was. And so I packed up all my stuff, moved to Thailand so I could have good health care and a better life, I hope. So far, so good. And, an affordable, truly affordable health. But I still needed to figure out how to pay bills because you don't live for free in the U.S. and you don't live for free in Thailand either. So hopefully you guys will connect with me on social media and, and check out the storm shelter. And then I will talk with you guys later. Have a good one. Ciao.